Wow, this place is beautiful. I could walk here all day admiring the amazing views and breathing in the fresh mountain air. There's only one problem though. It kind of really, really smells here. And I think I know where it's coming from. So this is the culprit. Wow, look at that. The locals call it Serikol, which means, wait for it, and in Russian it's known as Goleboye Ozero, which means blue lake, and you can really see that the water has a lovely, beautiful, magic blue colour about it. Now, believe it or not, this is the most famous lake in the Balkariya Republic in the Caucasus Mountains, 1,500 kilometres to the south of Moscow.
There is a legend regarding the origin of this lake. Local people say that a young, beautiful princess once lived there. She fell in love with a shepherd, but a neighbouring prince also liked her. In his jealousy, he threw the shepherd into the abyss. The princess cried because of his death and filled the abyss with her tears. And as her love was pure and her eyes blue, that's how the water in the lake got its colour.
But the story says nothing about what happened to the body of the lover, but judging by the smell, I think it's still here. Only joking. It's actually hydrogen sulfide which gives the water its smell and its specific colour. And it's also the reason why this lake is almost dead. The only thing you'll see here is algae and possibly numerous scuba divers, as there is a diving centre operating here on the lake. Why dive here, though? Now, according to numerous legends, the bottom of the lake should be piled up with treasure from lost centuries ago, Soviet monuments, military equipment, and even cars. But is it really there? Well, nobody actually knows. And this small lake is a staggering 258 metres deep, the same height as 4 Big Bens. This is the deepest karst lake in the whole of Russia and the second deepest in Europe. And these guys here have been as low as 150 metres. Pretty incredible. And it may surprise you to learn that I am a bit of an experienced diver myself, so I'm going to see if I can meet them now.
The first deep dive in the lake, 120 metres, is dated back to the year 2002, and after this they thought about opening a permanent dive centre here. Now we can see the result. They arrange courses for different diving certificates, but you can come here even if you are a complete novice.
And the centre has all the necessary equipment. Now, an average dive, renting out all the equipment, etc., costs 1,500 rubles, which is around $60. Good price, although it does depend on the time of dive and the depth that you go. Now, all this talk about diving has made me want to have a go myself. I'm going to get changed. You wait there. How do you like my outfit? Black is this season's colour. This is Edward here. He's my dive buddy. I'll give you these. Okay. Okay. Right. He's going to check and set up all the equipment, and I'm going to let you know some information. The water here is meant to be very, very cold. I'm totally crazy. In fact, it's just 9 degrees throughout the entire year. And instead of wearing a dry suit, I'm wearing a very, very thick, full-body wetsuit. I have a feeling that this dive is going to be very short. Okay, wish me luck. One of the founders of the centre, Roman Prohorov, was the first man to ever dive in the Blue Lake. He completed his first dive in 1982 using only self-made diving equipment, and he managed to reach the depth of 70 metres without any proper wetsuit at all. I wonder how he survived. For example, when the aqualung inventor Jacques-Yves Cousteau explored the deepest karst lake in Europe, Vaucluse, it took him and his team 9 years and 80 attempts to descend 74 metres.
Wow! Oh, that was absolutely fantastic! Thank you very much.
take a look at this. There's not really that much to look at, but I did find the coin. Obviously somebody's thrown it in to make a wish, and actually it's famous in Russia. If you want to return to a place, you actually throw a coin, and hopefully you'll then return one day. Here we go.
The Blue Lake attracts divers from all over Russia, and all of them stay in Nalchik, the capital of Balkariya, as it's situated just 60 kilometers from the lake. Nalchik was founded as a military fortress in 1818 during the Caucasian War. This war lasted more than half a century, and the aim of the Russian state was to take over the North Caucasus and the tribes living there. But some areas, including that of Nalchik, already belonged to Russia at the time.
This local landmark is called Maria Square. That's because of this monument. In 1557, the Kabards, who were originally from this area, joined Russia, and to strengthen ties, their Princess Koshene married Ivan the Terrible. She was to become his second wife, lucky her. Later she was baptised as Maria, and she's known under this name in Russian history. This statue was erected 50 years ago to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the Union. And you know what? I think it looks a little bit like the Statue of Liberty.
As for the other title nationality of the Republic, the Balkars moved to the Caucasus only in the 13th century, and they also voluntarily joined Russia, but this happened only in 1827.
The Kabards and Balkars correspondingly make up 55% and 11% of the population. But regardless of the fact that they've been living together literally for centuries, both are completely different nationalities, and their languages strive from different families. However, both are Sunni, and you'll find beautiful mosques here in Nalchik.
Today, of course, not only these nationalities live in the region, Russians count for as much as 25% of the population, and there are 3 official languages here: Russian, Kabardian and Balkar.
As for the capital of the Republic, once being the administrative military centre, Nalchik started to develop as a resort from the 1960s. And at that time, lots of new large buildings such as these were constructed, changing the face of Nalchik. However, they hid the original traditional houses behind them. And even today, if you turn from the main road, you will see such views. OK, so these houses are very, very old, and some of them are even falling apart. But I think these have so much more character and history. Oh well, c'est la vie.
I wonder how these houses survived the Second World War, as this city was occupied by the enemy and it could have been completely destroyed.
The only answer? They didn't have enough time, just 2 months. And this was the first tank to enter the city. And on the 3rd of January 1943, Nalchik was freed. This park is over 150 years old, and it also survived the war, and it's the pride of Nalchik. Today, it's said to be one of the best parks in the whole of Russia, and it's spread over a quarter of the city.
In this part of the city, there is not even a single block of residential houses. This is a territory of numerous resort institutions and health centres, and no cars are allowed here.
Have you ever heard of Terenkur? Well, I hadn't until I came here to Nalchik. It's actually a therapy prescribed to patients. Go out and have a lovely long walk into the park. Be surrounded by lovely nature and breathe in the fresh, crisp air. Sounds like common sense to me, and I'm sure it's just an excuse to get the patients out of the building for a few hours. You know what? It really is nice and relaxing here. There are several lakes in the park, a small fairground, peace and quiet. It's a really, really nice holiday resort. I love it. Although instead of diving in the lake here, I think I'm going to catch some rays instead. Excuse me. Nice. Now I have to go on this. With the help of this funky yet rather scary looking cable car, you can enjoy great views from the top of Mount Kyzylovka.
Actually, Nalchik is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, which is similar to the shape of a horseshoe, and that's how Nalchik received its name.
Kyzylovka takes its name from the tree which grows up here, and this is the highest point in the city centre. This little cable car ride costs just 50 rubles, which is around $2, and it lasts just 7 minutes. And just look at the colours of these beautiful trees. Way! There we go. Strange architecture, isn't it? This building shows the head of a local epic hero called Sosruko. He brought fire to the people, and that's why he's holding a torch. Inside, there's also meant to be a really good restaurant, just in time, as I'm really, really hungry. Okay, so what do we have here? Interesting menu. Goat, dog, shark. Of course, I'm only joking. But tasting traditional cuisine has recently become a hobby of mine, as well as learning how to prepare it. So I'm going to attempt to cook a dish called lagura, and it's a hot meal using dry beef. This is Aslan here. Thank you very much for letting me join your kitchen. And he's one of the head chefs here at the restaurant. And this meal is actually one of their favourite local dishes. Let's hope it's not too complicated. And first of all, it looks like we're chopping some very, very dry meat. Aslan, may I try? Okay. Looks a little bit like beef jerky. Okay. Now, first of all, the beef was salted, and then it was dried outside and smoked for around 6 hours. Kind of smells quite nice. Now, the meat is then added into a frying pan. Oh, there we go.